अस्सलाम वालेकुम। द राइजिंग स्टार्स की एक नई एपिसोड के साथ आगा अब्दुल सत्तार हाजिर खिदमत है। आज हमारे साथ आगा खान यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर एमेराइटस डॉक्टर HR अहमद हैं। तो उनसे हम ब्रेन डेवलपमेंट के हवाले से बात करेंगे विदाउट एनी फर्दर डिले। डॉक्टर साहब, किस तरह ये ब्रेन जो है वो डेवलप होता है, इसके हवाले से कुछ फरमाइएगा।
Yeah, human brain development starts after male and female have met together and interacted together, and so that the sperm from the male and the egg from the female, they could interact to make a zygote, one cell, and this develops with some time, about within a week, to a number of cells known as blastocyst. So the this whole pregnancy is divided into three parts. And first trimester, 3 months, another second trimester, 3 months, and the third trimester, 3 months. So altogether 3 months, 9 months. So from the single cell out of father and mother chromosomes together, the cell then becomes tissue, and the tissue then becomes organ, and the organs then becomes organism. And so human brain development, one can say, begins at the third weeks of gestation. It means the third weeks of gestation means in the first month of the pregnancy. The first trimester has got 3 months, so this is the first month, and in the third weeks of gestation. So the blastocyst, which is um, a collection of cells, they form three different types of cells. One is called ectoderm, then endoderm, myoderm, and endoderm. So three different cell lines are in function. And these three cell lines, they have the whole construction plan of the human body. Now the brain is coming from the ectoderm, and the rest of the body is coming from myo and endoderm cell line. So human brain development begins at the third weeks of gestation. A neural tube is formed out of the inward folding of the embryonic ectoderm. And over the time course of 3 trimesters of pregnancy, this tube undergoes proliferation, migration, and specialization. And these three hallmarks finally form fully functioning brain of 80 billion neurons at birth to explore the world. And this is indeed a lucid example of how the ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. So it means through the 9 months from the embryo and fetal life, 9 months, it is recapitulating. It is in a way demonstrating these the evolution of Homo sapien from single cell to human body, from single cell to human conscious. So this is very interesting, that this is a lucid example of how the ontogeny Ontogeny means the 9 months, uh, 9 months development, embryo, fetus, and this lifestyle is is now recapitulating the whole evolution from single cell to human being. And it means we have a genetic code and known as universal genetic code, which is uh, responsible for plants, animal, and us, and how they express that makes plant, and the way our genes are expressed makes human being, and the way the genes are expressed they make animals. So the same genetic code is making a family of plants, animals, and human being to live together, right? And that is a very important. And this way, this lifestyle has been best practiced by the indigenous people of the Mother Earth,
Hmm.
right? Before the migration took place from one place to another. So the indigenous people knew how to live with plants, animals, and human together. That is very, very important. So we cannot make a wall between plant is here, animals here, and human being here. So we are one family following the universal genetic code. So this is a lucid example how the ontogeny recapitulates the phylogeny. And this is being orchestrated by morphogen as diffusible signaling molecules to establish concentration gradient to instruct embryonic cells how to form distinct neuronal network. So the
Hmm.
brain network, which is now the uh, is what we are copying, the cyber network, and the future is the quantum computer network would come, but the brain network is a unique of 80 billion neurons. They are network, and how they are functioning. Number one, they have intention, then they plan, then they program, then they execute. And at each step, they are able to do error correction. So a movement begins in posture and ends in posture. So first posture, then movement, then posture. This is very, very important for any movement we do. So this is being orchestrated by morphogens. Morphogens are molecules, and they are instructing how to establish or how to form the neuronal network, and they have a gradient, and that gradient is important for the instruction for formation of neuronal network. So morphogens include chemicals known as WNT, sonic hedgehog, bone morphogenetic proteins, and fibroblast growth factor. So these are like a faculty, and the neurons are the student.
Hmm.
So without the faculty, without the morphogen, the neurons cannot build a network. So this is an important to see. Now the first question is, what are the first trimester hallmark hallmarks of brain development? These are neural tube closure. The neural tube must close. If it does not close the neural tube, we are in trouble. So these are neural tube closure and brain vesicle formation and neuroblast proliferation. By week fourth, the neural tube should normally be closed. That is very important. Of note is the fact that the anterior top portion of the tube bulges into three primary vesicles: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. And this is followed by the phase of cell proliferation and migration. Millions of neuroblasts rapidly divide to migrate to their final destination by the week 8 to form the brain cerebral cortex from inside out under the influence of morphogenic sonic hedgehog. This is very important. So, if your brain is already made till midbrain and they want to form the forebrain, the cerebral cortex, then there is a battle of morphogen between sonic hedgehog and WNT. If the sonic hedge wins the battle, the brain will be formed. And if the sonic hedge does not win the battle, the forebrain would be not formed. This is a very interesting recent observation. How does the brain, the second question, how does the brain development moves forward during the second trimester? So the first trimester is dealing with embryo, and all the animals of the Mother Earth, including us, during the embryo, we are all same. You cannot distinguish this is human or this is animal. But in the second trimester, there is a sign for human origin कि एक लग रहा है बाबा है या बेबी है, right? So this is interesting. So how does the brain development moves forward during the second trimester? Second trimester is where the fetus, the embryo is becoming fetus, and only during the when it becomes when we become fetus, then we can be recognized as human. Before in the first three months of the first trimester, all are going through the same. This is very interesting. So how does the brain development moves forward during the second trimester, where we are becoming fetus? It takes over the responsibility of migration and cortical mapping. The cortex consists of 2 millimeter to 7 millimeter thick cap, and this cap contains the microchips of the whole brain connected with the lower part of the brain. So this is really very important. So of note is the fact that the anterior top portion of the tube bulges into three primary vesicles: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. And this is followed by the phase of cell proliferation and migration. Millions of neuroblasts, and these are the stem cells, rapidly divide to migrate to their final destination by the week 8 to form the cerebral cortex from inside out under the influence of morphogenic sonic hedgehog. Okay, now we go to
Third
neural.
stage. Third stage.
Yes, third stage. Uh, so this is where very important. So the primitive, how does the brain development moves forward during the second trimester? It takes over the responsibility of migration and cortical mapping, and the brain starts taking on the recognizable human shape. So in the second trimester, you can say there is something like human.
Hmm.
But
Okay,
in the
let's move on. What happens next?
Yeah. So neural migration continues as neurons migrate to their final destination, cerebral cortex, along radial fibers to network trillions of intricate connections as synapses. So synaptic connections is like a galaxy, uh, and with millions of stars. Here we have a millions and billions of uh, neurons, and they are being connected. By the end of the second trimester, the coordinated fetal brain activity for consciousness and basic senses begins. Now the fetus is feeling, saying hi mama, and we can the fetus is hearing the heartbeat of mother, you see. So it allows the fetus to respond to sound, light, movement to kickstart a perceptual lifestyle. So the mother feels now the baby is kicking me. So they have a crosstalk, you know. So
Hmm.
baby can hear the music, the baby can hear the heartbeat of mama. So you know this is a very interesting symbiosis. Now the last paragraph. What are the hallmarks of development during the third trimester? And third trimester is very important. Between the second and third trimester, there is an anomalous scan to find out if the journey of the embryo to fetus is um, going well or there are problems. So if there is some anomaly, then you know the parents would be informed that the baby should be aborted, right? But you know, in our country, the culture is sometimes so tough that they don't allow it, and they want to have crippled baby. But that's what. So this is we need lot of education here to do. So so it takes the responsibility of what are the hallmarks development during the third trimester. It takes the responsibility of growth and refinement. Brain doubles in size during this period. Its surface folds to form wrinkles known as sulci and gyri of the human cortex. So human cortex has got a lot of folding, and that folding increases the size of the cortex. This is very important. And then comes myelination of axon. Axons are the wire of the brain. Like we have the copper wire for passing the current, they have the axon to pass the electrical signal. The brain works on the electrical signal, right? So,
Hmm.
so
Okay,
myelination.
I think it will be quite long.
No,
So
no, no,
let.
but it
Hmm.
is coming.
Okay.
Myelination of axon boosts the speed and efficiency of neural signaling. It serves for an appropriate neural response to a stimulus. The cerebral cortex becomes highly active, allowing it to regulate breathing, heartbeat, and even dream in preparation of life outside the womb.
Hmm.
It is like an astronaut landing on the blue dot of the universe. It is indeed a journey from the Big Bang to human consciousness over 13.7 billion years worthy of enlightenment. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. It's an interesting debate. It's an interesting explanation. So we shall kind of come up with more topics. This was all for today. So we shall come with more topics in the future. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Dr. H R Ahmed. Thanks a
Yes.
lot.
Thank you. All the best.